I had a friend who asked me if something was offensive or why do we celebrate holidays, just what can be uncomfortable questions or conversations.
Right.
Stefan, thank you so much for just taking some time and chatting with me today.
My pleasure. It's been too long. We haven't had a chance to hang out. So.
It really has. And on such a special day where we just get to have a conversation about Juneteenth and what it's meant for us. And so, again, I just thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. And Juneteenth, it's really become a special day for me because as I understood it, as I was growing up, as I understood it, it was just the Emancipation Proclamation. It's just the day that slavery ended. But as I grew up and got older and began to recognize more about the day and recognize that it's really the day that freedom was really attained for all slaves, then that's when it became more special for me. As I began to realize, what it was and really kind of recognizing how this played out in our society and how it changed the country at that time. And so it's not just, the Emancipation Proclamation, because that was still during the Civil War and all this kind of stuff were happening. And it was a couple of years later in 1865, obviously on the 19th, when that actually became something that was enforced and real. And so it's really special. And I'm actually learning more about it because it's been tough, it's been tough to learn through. And so I don't know about you, did you and your family, did you guys, is this something that you celebrated or is this something that you guys really participated in? Or
actually, my mom is Puerto Rican and my dad is from Haiti. And so growing up, there was already this kind of honestly, confusion of where do I fit in and do I fit in and can I celebrate anything that, is a holiday. And so specifically, whether it be in the Latin community or within the Black community, I was just honestly very confused because I didn't feel like I fit in with anybody.
Right.
And so it wasn't really until years later where I found out about Juneteenth and the importance of the holiday. And again, I didn't know how to celebrate. And so it wasn't like 4th of July where it's, you throw a big, barbecue and whatever. Because I didn't know how to celebrate, and to be honest, I was afraid to ask how to celebrate. I just took the day and took a moment to remember that this is something that is truly special. This is something that needs to just have a moment of recognition. And so I silently celebrated the holiday.
Well, I'm going to out myself here. Maybe I'm a bad Black person, but maybe I honestly haven't celebrated it. Wow. And there's a couple of reasons. So as we were growing up, it was here. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah. So as a kid, and I really wanted to figure out what happened with slavery and that entire time period. And so I began to read books and just educate myself. And so the challenge was I'd open a book and I'd see little drawings and pictures and et cetera. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to get into this. And as I got into the stories, the stories were so horrific that I legitimately was traumatized. And as I began to study it, there was a point in time where I was like, I can't read this anymore. And I remember my mom and I, we never celebrated it because I think for my mom and I, my sister was a little bit different, but I know for my mom and I, there was way too much anger. There was way too much rage. There was this sense of helplessness and I didn't know what to do with that anger. And I didn't know what to do with that rage. And so much so that it was just something I just avoided, and so I love the holiday for what it represents, but for whatever reason, it is connected to that pain in my life. And so it's actually hard for me to celebrate. I know that's not how everyone feels.
No, absolutely. I know, I think that's the beauty of the fact that we all are unique individuals, right? And so we process things differently and we celebrate things differently, and that's okay. And I think whether it be silently or whether it be publicly, like our friend Ty, him and his family throw an entire celebration specifically for Juneteenth, but we know that not everybody celebrates it the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got another friend, and he's white, and he and his family, they adopted a young African-American boy, and and for the first year, this time, they've had to teach him about what this day means. And so they celebrate it, and I think they do it in such a great way, because if I were going to give advice to anyone who wasn't Black and they wanted to celebrate it, for me, it would just be education.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah.
Try to gain context for what happened. Try to gain context for what we're celebrating and why we're celebrating it. And, someone who isn't Black isn't necessarily going to be able to put themselves in a Black person's shoes, but you can definitely try and understand and figure out what they're going through and why is this special? Why was it hard? Yeah. And why is this something that is so important to our society? And I thought my friend with his kids, they did a great job of educating them and then helping them understand the meaning behind it. And so I think that would be crucial if someone who isn't Black is going to celebrate. I think it starts there. I think it starts with education.
Absolutely. I had a friend who asked me if something was offensive or why do we celebrate holidays, just etc. Just random questions that she felt safe enough to ask me. And I think that that's what was so cool and special about these, what can be uncomfortable questions or conversations, is the fact that we had enough equity, relational equity, for her to feel confident in being vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't know why we should celebrate this or if this is offensive or whatnot. And so I think even for anybody listening now who may not have or know if they have that equity with somebody, is just to educate themselves.
Absolutely.
I think there are so many great resources that are out there just to help formulate an understanding of why we celebrate Juneteenth, but also just Black history and Black culture in general.
Right.
And even as followers of Jesus, I also think of where is Jesus in all of this, right?
Yeah.
Because Jesus is in the midst of it. And when I think of Jesus, when I think of Juneteenth specifically, I think of freedom.
Yeah.
Because when Jesus came, he wasn't afraid to be with people who were outcasted. He came to set us all free.
Absolutely.
And the beauty of this holiday is that it represents freedom.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's what's really special for me about the holiday is because, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you feel like you didn't fit in or you felt less than.
Oh, for sure.
And I remember as a kid, so we didn't grow up in the rich neighborhood. Yeah. We're the last street next to the rich neighborhood. And so, but it was still close enough to go to the rich church. And, so I put on my best clothes, which weren't great. And, we're in this church and there are a lot of white people there, a lot of suits, a lot of ties, dresses, etc. And, I'm thinking, man, I don't really belong here. Yeah. But this is the closest church. Like here we are. This is where we're at. And I just remember feeling like I wasn't a part. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about Jesus is that's not even in his language. Yeah. Like everyone is a part of the kingdom. So he came for all of us, and his sacrifice was literally for every single person, regardless of color or race or background or any of that stuff. And so because of that, when I look at this holiday outside of freedom, I feel accepted. And so, and I don't know necessarily if there are people who feel disconnected from the holiday spiritually. Yeah. And I don't know, and maybe you've come across this, like maybe you have friends in your life who want to celebrate, but they don't know how. Yeah. They don't know what to do. Yeah. And they want to empathize, but it's just the connection's just not there. Yeah. And so for people like that, I just want them to maybe try and connect spiritually and remember how we were all separated from Christ. Yeah. But because of him, he brought us all together. So it makes it just that much more powerful for me.
I love that. That is so powerful. Stefan, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. We have to get together and talk more often.
Yes, we really do. We really do.